Friday Sunday, everyone! Today's topic is our writing playlist. The music that we listen to when we are writing, or what gets us in the mood to write, I suppose. I don't have a whole lot to say on the subject because it's completely, I think, subjective to the person who's writing. And Joy and Jake have both said very much like what I think too, which is I tend to choose music based on the scenes I'm writing or the mood I'm in, the emotions I want to evoke. As for type of music that I listen to, usually when I'm writing I have to have something that has very few lyrics because they get in the way or they influence my writing too much, I suppose. But every once in a while I make an exception if I can concentrate over the words. Either I don't know the music well enough and I'm not trying to listen to the lyrics, or I know it super well and it's just playing in the background and I can totally ignore it. And then that's when I can listen to music with lyrics. But usually I'm listening to something like Narada. That was a 90s label. I think they still put stuff out. It had artists like David Lanz was one of my very first favorites. David Arkenstone. Actually, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think he was a Narada label. Spencer Brewer. There's a bunch of them. Tingstad and Rumble or one. I think they're a married couple. It's considered new age, but it's like nature music. It's soft. It's almost like classical, but it has more of a just instrumental feel. When I had iTunes, I would build playlists of all my favorites. So I would build playlists for evocative music that I'm going to listen to when I'm not writing that reminds me of my stories. And I had these huge lists. But then iTunes killed them one day. It didn't load properly and it destroyed all of my playlists. And these were long playlists and I was so upset that I didn't go back and fix them all. I also used to burn CDs with music that I listened to back and forth from work or whatever that brought out certain feelings. Spotify has done a lot to up my playlist game, and I don't have to do a lot of work to it because I can just search now according to mood and find huge playlists full of new age music, soft instrumentals, chill out, whatever I'm in the mood for, and I just play that in the background. It's just there to keep that part of my brain occupied. If I'm not writing and on purpose trying to evoke a certain emotion, I'll look something up specifically. Or if I'm nostalgic, there's some music that is incredibly nostalgic and will just yank those emotions right out and just lay them out on the table, and I'll be like, oh, and emotionally incapacitated for a little while, but it pulls all that up so that I can actually work on some of that. I have to apologize because I feel like I'm all over the board. The past few weeks I have not been able to focus super well. Today has been really, really crazy for just my brain in general. I can't nail down a thought, and I feel incredibly unmotivated to do things, but also super anxious. I feel like there's a crank that's just winding my insides up into this ball. So last week's video was not really what I wanted it to be. So I might as well start my shout outs now. But Joy, yeah, I went a little extra. I kind of went outside the lines. I don't know, getting extra credit or whatever. I'm an overachiever. So I kind of overdid it as far as tropes go. I didn't take the time to think about the exact thing about Christian tropes that bother me. The ones I do love, there are ones that I really do love, but there's the ones that bother me, and I couldn't quite articulate it. I've never quite been able to articulate it, but there are people online who can. So Lydia, I hope I didn't just completely misrepresent it to people who might be interested in looking it up and seeing what it's about. It is a challenge to write Christian fiction because you have to balance certain things. I think in 2 weeks we're going to talk about pen names, and that is going to come up again. It's a challenge to write edgy subjects in a palatable way, but I don't want to. The biggest problem I have is that we're supposed to treat Christianity like it's this perfect ideal of life, like once you become a Christian you don't suffer and everything's great and wonderful and you're happy because God just wants you to be happy, and it's so not true. And I could do an entire podcast about this, and I should stop now because now I'm preaching and I'm sorry. That's another problem that I have, is like I don't trust myself entirely to write Christian fiction as much as I want to, because I have a tendency to preach, and you know, that's like one trope that I really hate. I hate preachy fiction. I'm off on a rabbit trail again, but I did it because I really wanted to clarify that. I'm going to post another YouTuber, just his channel, because he reviews Christian movies, and he does such a good job at it, and it's so funny. And he's, you know, he's Christian too, but he's being critical of the things that make Christian fiction in general fairly disingenuous. And it's highly entertaining, especially for the discerning Christian. I don't know what I'm trying to say, help me. Off that topic, I'll leave it alone now. So Lydia, I just wanted to clarify that little bit because I felt like I was really all over the place. And if I could ever talk about it again, I'd like to, but I'm just going to leave it now. Joy, for both of you, Lydia and Joy, I couldn't hear your fans in the background. It was not even, there was no noise. I could just hear your voices, your beautiful voices. And so don't worry about your fans. Stay cool. It's been hot. I have my window open, so you might be able to hear the crows and the murder going on in the forest behind me. It's been really fabulous. There's a crow going, wah, and a bunch of them going, ark, ark, ark. I wonder if I'm going to cut that part out. I don't know. Joy, I wanted to comment on the coffee thing. So I just started drinking my coffee black a few months ago because my stomach can't handle the dairy anymore. But I had to come to grips with the flavor and the heat. My husband can drink it straight out of the pot and it burns my face off. And I hate that. So what I started doing, especially if I have a travel mug that keeps it hot for a long time, is putting a couple of ice cubes in. But if I just pour it straight out of the pot, and I burned my tongue so bad the other day, so I have to do this now. I have to stick it under the faucet, like either water from the fridge or water from the faucet. It will take the edge off the bitterness of coffee, especially if you like brewing your coffee strong or you like the taste of it when it was strong, and it will cool it off suitably, and so it's actually drinkable. Somehow it makes coffee taste better. I don't know why, it just does. It worked, and now I can drink my coffee black and I like it. I never ever thought I was going to go off of creamer. I didn't think I could live without it. But now, you know, with all this anxiety, I'm like, with the way my brain works, I want the caffeine to work as a stimulant, like stimulant medication would for neuroatypical, for ADHD style thought things. See, it's not working. Like the neurons just aren't firing. I've had caffeine today, but I also have like anxiety, and it's been crippling today. And I think what I'm going to do is like just lay off the caffeine a little bit today, maybe just today. I don't think I could live without caffeine. Like, I could live without creamer, but don't take away my coffee. I need my coffee. I think I'm gonna go upstairs when I'm done with this, and I'm going to put on my headphones and I'm going to listen to the music that I used to listen to in high school and junior high, and let my mind wander, because this anxiety is just killing me. I'm not getting anything done anyway. Well, I do have to journal, so I could do that and just be quiet for a while, because that's all I can think of to do. This crazy stream of consciousness episode has been brought to you by Thursday, because tomorrow I'm too busy and I need to get this thing out before midnight. I hope she doesn't mind me saying so, but tomorrow is Joy's birthday. So everybody go to her videos and tell her happy birthday. Okay? Alright. Anyway, I hope you have a great weekend. I hope any of this made any sense at all. And I will talk to you next week. Bye! Bonus, I forgot to add. So, I used to listen to Pandora. I would pick a group on Pandora. Now I don't, because I have Spotify. But Joy and I were chatting one night. We were doing writing sprints or something, and I was working on something. I'm going to throw the picture up here in a second. but it was the middle of the night, I don't even know if my husband was home, and I'm on Pandora and I'm writing, and I hear this one song. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look and see what the song is. So I move my word processor window out of the way, and I see this face looking at me, because the album cover had this really creepy face on it. So you have to see this face. So here you go. Happy weekend.